Welcome to Vet Zone, where passion for animals, science, and medicine lives. What is the prevalent incidence that I will understand biostatistics? An introductory look into both prevalence and incidence. When reading any news story involving diseases, you've likely heard about a rise in the incidence of this disease or a rise in the prevalence of that disease. Despite having clear mathematic definitions, both terms are used casually to describe disease frequency. These two words are closely related, but with distinct and clear definitions. Incidence is a rate, and as such it's a measure of risk. It is defined and calculated as the number of new cases of a disease divided by the population at risk for a given period of time. Incidence answers the question, how fast? On the other hand, prevalence is a ratio and is a measure of burden. The total number of individuals with the disease is divided by the total population at a specific point in time. Prevalence answers the question, how much? The first thing that you may have realized is that for both incidence and prevalence, we don't have the denominators. The total population and the defined population at risk are just not numbers that are available in small animal veterinary medicine, at least not most of the time. As a result, true prevalence and incidence are typically not available. For livestock herds, there's better availability. When looking at wildlife, the data again becomes vague. The relationship of these terms is often explained with the analogy of a bathtub. The water in the tub describes the current number of cases and represents prevalence. New cases going into the bathtub would be incidence. The water leaving the tub via the drain would represent either patients that were cured or cases that died. The relationship of these terms highlights why knowing both is helpful, along with the context of the disease process, available diagnostics, treatments, and preventions in place. A rise does not always mean a problem. For example, imagine there's a new diagnostic test. It has better accuracy and allows for earlier diagnosis. As that test begins to be used, there will be a statistical rise in both the incidence and the prevalence of the disease, based solely on better testing. In another example, think of a deadly chronic disease. Then a new treatment comes along. While the incidence may not change, the prevalence will dramatically rise, based solely on increased survival time of the patients. Niels Bohr said clarity through breadth. When looking at prevalence and incidence data, it's important to take the entire picture into view. And when it comes to biostatistics, these two definitions form a background from which we can define other values, such as positive predictive value, attack rate, and relative risk. Thank you for listening and see you in the zone.